Bro, I just recorded a whole recap and I wasn't even recording. What the fuck is up with that? Um, okay, I'm gonna try and just do it all again, I guess. What else am I supposed to do? Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Wednesday. Red day today. Down $210, 83 cents. I think after commissions probably like $300 or something. But all in all, if you look at this like drawdown graph, I was down like $1,000 at one point, and I climbed my way back. And of course, the day that I scale up is when shit hits the fan. But shit didn't really hit the fan. I'm really proud of like myself, like keeping my head on straight and still taking like the trades I'm supposed to. I will say that maybe my edge is like optimal in the like 6 o'clock to like 6:45 time. But that being said, like my past green days have been pre-market, and I would obviously prefer to get those ones pre-market versus during market hours. But I feel like it's much harder for me to control my emotions pre-market versus market hours because I have to click the buttons versus when I'm market hours, I could just drag my stop, drag my take profit depending on how I feel. Um, about how it'll play out, and it's much easier and much less stress for me. Um, anyways, well, let's talk through it. So, Agri was first. This one was just overextended. This is one that I've traded in the past, so I was comfortable taking again. It was spiking up, set its like resistance above zero point 0.9 in this candle, and I was just looking to tap into that. So it got to zero point 0.9. I shorted. Obviously, could have waited a little bit more to get it closer to 9.2, 9.3, but it ended up selling off and working out for me. I did like scale out of it, so that's why I was able to get out a little more. On my Now I'm risking $270 a trade to make 180 a trade. So that 0.66 risk reward is what I'm shooting for with a higher win rate. And I'll probably adjust that as time moves on, um, but yeah, so 180 is kind of the number we're looking for now instead of 130. Now that I've scaled up a little bit. Um, and then on the losses, it's going to be 270. So GoPro was really pushing up with volume, but there wasn't any like news out at this point. Maybe it was like it came out later, I don't remember. But that's why I entered short here with the resistance here. Obviously, there was like a good amount of volume, and the price action was like, to be frank, like pretty bullish. So this first entry like wasn't that good. I think the second one, if I took it at 2.4, would have been better. Um, but anyways, I got stopped out of this first entry. And then the second entry, I was hoping to catch the fade down. Like I thought it would come down more. So here I was in at 238. It looks like an ATR is 10 cents, which makes it 228 as my profit target, or a little less than that. It did hit it, but I thought it would go down more. I think in the next candles, it just like, so you see here, it just gets massively bought up. And then I just didn't like that it was breaking out again, and I got short. Not optimal. So this is like one of the faults in me having no hard orders to take me out is I might be like, maybe I could get a little more, or maybe I can stick this out, or I end up getting out maybe too early. So it's a struggle for sure, and I need to really like stick to it, knowing that it works. I need to keep reminding myself that, but also continuing to be patient and finding those perfect entries. Because to be honest, a lot of the entries today, they weren't perfect, um, but I do think I played them well. Obviously, you want to snipe the top, but that's not always going to happen. So I do think I got in well, but like every trade I took definitely had profitability potential. But anyways, moving on to this last GoPro trade. So after I saw this sort of indecision, and this is really like a break of structure at this point, like with this candle, maybe there wasn't enough volume. As it was coming back up, I guess triple top doesn't work that often, right? If it's gonna start selling off, maybe 243 holds instead of the high. But we got up to that high and then I shorted and it just blasted through again. Like the price action on this was kind of insane, all in all. So no real like pullback from the start of the move at two. It's up like 30% off of nothing really. So ends up selling off, obviously, collapses. But super like tough to time these if they just keep grinding higher with that bullish price action. Is like if you look at like this at this like point, kind of when this candle forms, what are the signs that it's gonna reverse, right? If you're just looking at the 1 minute, if you're looking at the 3 minute, maybe like this is when it'll reverse, like clear indecision. But obviously, like it's hard to know because you have that similar kind of situation here, where there's a lot of volume and clear indecision, but it breaks higher. So it's always like tough to know when it's gonna start reversing. Even like reading the tape and looking at these setups, it's very difficult to time it exactly. But I would say I have a pretty good success rate with timing it. So that's why I take the trades I do. Um, but any experienced traders out there looking at or watching this video, feel free to critique me on my thought process. Then we had a mod. So this says $500, but the reality is I just wanted to see how it reacted to my stop. It ended up pulling it back a little bit. So the first entry, the stop was at 201. The second entry, the stop was at 22. So I took my first entry here off of the breakout with not a lot of volume, and the fact that there was shorting at 1.6, 1.65. I thought that I could snipe this and it'll collapse, but it didn't. It broke out higher. Saw more indecision at 193. Hopped in short. It came down a little bit. So if we look at like, or I guess you don't see it in this trade running P&L. It came back a little bit, but I didn't get out at this 179 point. I think here I had like a 2 ATR. So maybe I was targeting like, or it was probably 1.5. So 20 cents at 1.9 and it didn't get to 1.7. So got stopped. It broke out again. I got stopped out of this one and then started holding that breakout. I got stopped out of my second one. So there were two entries. These were two separate entries that got combined into one that were both losses. And then at that point, I'm down $1,000. And I'm like, shoot, do I call it today? And then I was like thinking internally, I was like, I don't feel bad. Like, I don't feel like I'm trading the wrong place. Like, these are all like my setup and I'm like conditioned to it. So I just kept trading. And then after this one, I was like really debating quitting because I didn't let this hit my profit target and I just got scared. Like, I got out of this because I got scared. I thought it would break out higher. But there was no reason to. Like, this, if anything, was a much better entry because we saw that pullback and more bearish kind of price action. The only fear is like, okay, it's holding its breakout, but it didn't really hold the breakout. Like, it collapsed under 224. What I didn't like is it was holding above 2, so it's kind of setting those higher highs and then it starts climbing up again. So at this point I'm like, fuck, but it's really just setting head and shoulders. So it didn't set new highs, which I need to consider. If it sets new highs and it continues higher and holds that breakout, I think it's fine to get out of the position. That's when that trade is invalidated, not here. Here I was just like, fuck, I haven't just moved my stop to break even because I don't want to lose again, right? Which is the wrong way to trade. So after four losses in a row, that'll happen to you. Like you start considering like, fuck, I can't take another loss. And then at that point, at this point, I was like, I should quit. I should like stop trading. And I like stepped away for a bit and I was like thinking about it. I was like, I'm not even taking bad trades. These are all like my setup. I'm waiting for the right points. It's just not working out. So I continued trading and I climbed my way out of like this crazy hole. So starting with Iova um, started showing that shorting above like 4-1 really. I saw heavy sell orders. It tapped out at 414 and then it shot down like 10 cents. And so I tried to get as close to that as possible. And I did. Could have held a little more, but again, 180 is my profit target. So I did squeeze out more than I was expecting. It was just selling off really hard. RXRX had a huge bullish candle on the open, and so I was waiting to see any sort of resistance. I started seeing some above 7, so I took the short there, and then it wicked up to 714, but then hit my profit target at 686. So solid there, pretty straightforward. And then RZLV, another winner. This one was short. Same thing, like super bullish candle on the open, started slowing momentum, and I started seeing that shorting coming in at 356, and then I covered into the next candle. Probably a good hold situation, but hit my profit target. At this point, it's market open, so I have those hard orders set. Then we have costs. This one had positive earnings, so I was a little bit nervous. But I saw that shorting at 779. So I was just waiting for us to get there and for that momentum to slow again. And I started seeing it at 8. I got in at 8 and then it gets above to 8.6. My stop, I think, was 7 or 8.9. It chops around here, but I'm laying on my bed because I don't want to touch this. I want this to just like work out on its own. I have my hard orders set. And I'm glad I did. If this was still chopping, I might have gotten out at break even. But at this point, I would say I kind of had my confidence back. I did want to fire again at 8.4, but I was just a little nervous because it had earnings news that it could keep grinding higher with no resistance in sight. So after I take that step back, now we have like 4 green trades in a row. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's keep going. And then we had PLRZ where I took another loss. But I've traded PLRZ before. I know that it likes to pull back. So I got in short when I saw this sort of shorting happening. This was my overextension. It hit my overextension indicator, but then the next candle, it just broke out. So tough there. But then after this, it was still very overextended. And then I saw that slowing momentum again. So I just fired again, like full confidence. And this one hit my profit target. So same candle on the 3-minute, but we see here it hit the profit target. I will add, I did move my profit target up because ATR was really high at this point. And on my second entry, I target 1.5 ATRs, and I didn't like how low it was, so I moved it up to like slightly above VWAP. So this trade was $200, and let me tell you how much it should have been. If I held, it would have been 270, but I don't think it gets there. No, I don't think it gets there. I think I get stopped out again, and then I fire again maybe here on this indecision and don't get stopped out. So let me see if I stuck to my strategy here, I would have lost maybe an extra $90. But either way, like I think moving it up to kind of that mid VWAP level is fine as long as I move my stop down. I didn't move my stop down for this, but yeah, I definitely shouldn't be risking that much if I'm limiting my profits. So I think it's okay as long as I do that, as long as I see price action in my favor. Um, or if price action is against me, maybe it's okay to move that take profit up, because obviously like my strategy isn't working in that point in time. So I probably should have done that with G Pro. But all in all, like I would say like the trades where I didn't 100% stick to my plan were this trade and this trade. So winning trades. The losing trades, I think I played perfectly. So I need to stop kind of shooting myself in the foot when, things were. You're okay, sorry. I thought I wasn't recording again. I almost freaked out. But yeah, climbed back and I don't know. I'm like trying to think if this was a bad win, and I think it is. Like looking back, I moved my profit target, and I really need to stop doing that. Like I need to break that habit. But the tough thing is like when you basically move it to the perfect spot, like I shouldn't have done it. That exit efficiency is pretty good. Um, and maybe it just comes down to like taking it that third entry here, then it works out like fine. Um, Taking another entry, and I wonder if like sizing, like how I should size really, like should I be keeping, should I target like deeper reward when I'm in that third entry, or should I just stick to my risk reward and do the same thing every time? Because then I'm more inclined to like take these kinds of setups where like 2-2 is being shorted. I don't know. Maybe I just need to stick around on my keyboard more, because these pullbacks will happen too, and I'm just like, I wonder if I should capitalize on them. Obviously, if they're reaching my criteria. So a lot of the time I will reserve like entering or firing another bullet for when the price reaches my stop. And I don't feel like I have to do that. I mean, we saw two examples of like not needing to do that is just PLRZ and I think it was COS. So even though I hope someone said bless you, even though COS um, didn't reach my stop, clearly getting shorted at 8.5, and definitely like I remember this was still in that overextended kind of indication I have. And I have another sneeze coming. And so I definitely like didn't need to wait for that. I can just fire and do my one entry and fire. So I think I'll motherfucker. I think I'll start doing that. And stop being kind of afraid of shit. Maybe I'm risking too much. Of course, the reason why I didn't for this one was because of EPS news, but I do think it's very clear that 8.4 was resistance. So when it's overextended, I think it doesn't matter. As long as it fits my criteria for that edge, I really should take it no matter what. So thanks for watching. Sorry, longer video. I'm looking at the recording. It says it's 20 minutes, but oh my God, I'm going to sneeze again. But yeah, let's see. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins out of 12. And AMOD I should have held. PLRZ could have been a stop, but then again, like firing again on those good opportunities. Same with COS, firing again on the good opportunities are important. And maybe AMOD too, like could have fired again as it was coming up again. Because if we look at the chart, it came up again later on in the day above there. People are obviously trapped in the 2-4s. So maybe I shouldn't step away from the keyboard. Obviously, like it's very like up in the air. But anyways, I'll just wrap up here. This is a long video. If you stuck around this far, Let me know what your favorite color is in the comments. But yeah, $210 loss today, a little bit more with commissions, but if we look on the week, I'm still green. So let's keep this week green. I am getting that confidence obviously scaled up yesterday, or I guess today is the first day of me scaling up. Um, so yeah, let's get used to this and keep going. Thanks for watching, and peace.